Right. Yeesh. Today, I'm replacing the roof on my shed. Because it's trashed. Luckily, my mitre saw doesn't actually seem to be... It's got a bit wet. It's leaking all down that there, all along there. Looks like there's a leak there as well. That could be an old one that got repaired. It's leaking here, all the way along this line as well. Interesting. It's along both the lines. Looks yeah, a bit of a leak there. Anyway, I'm really annoyed about this though, because this is all, I don't know if you can see, this is all buckled. So this is just trashed. Hopefully a plywood underneath. I'd only just put this all together. Anyway. And over here, then, it's even worse. There's no light in here. If you can see, that whole back end is leaking like a sieve. There's water all over everything in there. I don't know if you can see it really. I built the shed. There's one unit. Goes from over that corner. You can just see it through the front of the greenhouse there. Right the way along to there, and then I added that section on the side that's just got a cover for chairs and things. So I'm gonna replace the roof on the whole top of that. Right, so this is going to be a bit tricky because this thing I've built since I put the shed on. So it kind of covers over the front there, so that's going to be interesting. It was leaking. I don't know if you can see the strips go horizontally across the roof. It did start leaking a while ago, and I put some, just as a quick fix, I put some strips. That one's rucked up. So we can zoom in on that. I just laid some strips from top to bottom to try and cover over those. This is where those leaks are happening. Inside. Nothing particularly untoward. There's another front to back strip which I laid up. There was a big leak happening there. And you can see I've just laid 3 strips across where I attached that extra piece onto the end of it. So I'm going to strip off all of this felt right the way down to wood, and I've got a whole new felt to lay over the top. So we'll get doing that now. One thing I'd add is that the roof has been up here for 16 years. So it's, it's pretty much done its time, and it isn't helped by the fact that I've cut these trees back. These are the trees from the people who live behind us, but you can see there, that one's resting on it, and there were some a couple of years ago that were growing right onto it, and I think they've damaged it. And one of the other big culprits is that in the winter we've been storing the children's trampoline on top of the shed, And I'm sure that just going up and down, that's just caused some damage. So anyway, you can see there's a big hole in the middle of that, and they don't really use it anymore, so that's no going out. And that's another reason why I'm doing the roof now, because there's no reason for anything to go up here again. Anyway, right. Yeah, this is really interesting. You can see here there's a join in these boards, and right here, you can't quite see it at the moment because I've just torn that piece away, but there was a split there. You can see it goes down a bit there, but it looks like it's expanded across this joint and split there. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but we'll see in the next one. Anyway, carry on getting this off. Now, where are we? Here we are. You can see here, there's a lump of tar. There's also a nail which I use to attach the sheet. So I've got nails along there and along here which I've got to pull out. Here we can see the two. There's a little leak there. I think we saw that one inside. That one. And then this one. We've got another one here. And we've got this one over here, which is... And we've got this one here, which is a complete and utter disaster. This one's clearly been leaking for a very long time. And it's started to go mouldy even. Anyway, the other thing I need to call out, there's another leak there, is this is not a great day to be doing this one. Ideally, you do this in the height of summer, when the heat of the sun will warm up and soften the tarmac, or the felt rather. But it doesn't rain in the summer, so I never got round to it. It's raining now, and we've got to do it now before the winter gets any worse. depending on how much I speed that up, that could be a very long segment, but it's a really, really important segment, because even though I don't want to, even though I shouldn't, I am going to come up here later on and walk around on this roof. And any little stones or bits of leaf or anything which I leave on the roof, when I step on them, they will push through the felt and make a hole. So it's really important to make sure you've got everything off the roof, so that if and when you do, because you will, someone will throw something up here, you need to get up here to do something will happen, you'll end up with holes if you haven't cleaned it up properly. So very, very important tip. Right, here's the felt I've got to put on the roof. 4 rolls, 8 meters by 1 meter. So the roof is 9.8 meters wide, and as you can see here, I'll use 3 rolls across the width of it. So the 4th roll I'll use will get me 3 extra, whoops, you'll be sick, 3 extra bits to go across, take me to the end. I've also got staple gun, which I'm going to use to hold down the ends of it. Yeah, some spare staples. Bitumen paint to seal the joins. And I've got this extra strip which I'm going to put along that join, because I'm just a bit nervous that that might be a bit rough. So I'm just going to lay that over the top of that, and that's going to act as a bit of a buffer along there. Right, well, I've stapled that piece on. I can't quite believe what a good fit it is. It's exactly the right length. Well, I suppose it's marginally short. I just cut it random length. Thought that would be enough, and it is exactly the right length. Anyway, let's get spreading the first sheet. as I'm painting this, you can see this isn't flat. Now, it's very important. I've messed it up here. It's not the end of the world, but you need to get the felt, should be in a straight line, should roll it out straight rather, I suppose, and then you don't get these kind of wrinkles. It's not the end of the world, but it's preferable not to. So when you're laying them out, pay a bit of time, take a bit of time, and make sure you get the sheet absolutely straight so that you don't get any of these wrinkles. Now, I'm painting a good thick coat of bitumen here. This is sticking down the top sheet, and I'm also putting a coat here in front of the lower sheet, and the intention of that is, if I do get a hole in this sheet and water runs down, hopefully that will create a bit of a barrier. And stop it from leaking all the way through. Get that down there. Yeah, so we'll just come in here now. Doesn't work. Yeah, there we go. So, got to be careful now not to get bitumen on the camera, right? So again, you can see here, there's a little rolled up bit. So what's happened is, as I've rolled this along, as I've rolled this sheet along, I've gone up like that. You see that? I've curved and I've rolled it up in that direction. Not by a lot, but it's enough to make this give a little kink, which I would rather wasn't there. The other thing I've done is that where I've got a join in the wood like there is there, I've made sure there's a big load, and I've tried to stuff it down into the hole again, so that if it does start to leak, that will act as a bit of a stop. And this coating, this is just to glue down the sheet. So when you're laying roof felt, let's move that along. There's it. A bit easier to see. Right. When you're laying the roof felt, you'll notice that I laid the bottom roll first, and then the next roll I lay on top of it, and I've overlapped it by, well, this brush is 80mm, so it's about 80mm I've overlapped it by. So as the rain comes down, it just naturally flows from one sheet to the next. You don't actually even need this glue. The glue is only, this bitumen glue is only here just to stop. There's wind blowing. It can blow the, well, two things. One, it can lift the sheet, and two, it can, and you have to see it to believe it. It can blow the water up and underneath the sheet, and then it will start leaking. It finds its way in and starts leaking. So that's another reason for having a good strong, a good long overlap. So 18 mil, that's 3 inches, 4 inches is a good amount. It will stop water getting through. I'm putting a good coating of this bitumen on, which is gonna stick it down. And it just means it's waterproof. I've got no trouble. Because the last thing I want is to be up here in 6 months' time filling holes or resealing something. So don't skimp, because you'll just end up regretting it. And at the end now. Right, here we go. And here's another join. As I said, where are we? There's the join. So I'm going to make sure there's a big dollop in there. And then paint across. So you can see there's a continuous. Where are we? So here, the bitumen is just running. If water was to come in here, it would run down here, run up the bitumen and out the other side. So it can't get underneath this sheet. Right. I'll move that to the end again. Right, I've rolled out the strip on the bottom here, and because this is going to be sideways, I'm going to have a good, I don't know, 18 inches of overlap, maybe 2 feet, because I don't want any issues. With water getting in. So that's the overlap. So if water does come under here, and it will, you know, it's not going to go 2 feet. Oops. This one gets a bit interesting. As before, tap the upper edge. Go to here. Won't go all the way to the edge. Right, this whole side. We get bitumen on it. Yeah. So, in order to get this in the right place, just going to get a bit on the brush and just kind of like tap along the edge. I know where it needs to go. And I'm going to cover this whole section. Because I don't want any leaks. This may be over the top, but better to be safe than sorry, as they say. And they had two size tins of bitumen. This size and one that was half the size. And this tin is about half full now. So the smaller one wouldn't have been enough. On this big one, I've got plenty. And it is not going to last another 15 years to the next time I renew this roof. So I don't have to worry about saving it or anything. That's the line. Now this is where, and you can see it's getting dark now. It's been a long day, although it is winter, so it's getting dark early. But if I was in this, if this was summer now, this felt would be really soft. The afternoon, and when I roll this out, it would just flop into this bitumen and just stick to it. But what's going to happen now probably is that it's going to want to roll up, and well, it's just a bit of a pain. So I've got plenty down this edge, so if it does roll up a bit, there's still stuff there that will seal it. One thing I should mention, this felt I've got is polyester reinforced. Which means where further up the top there, where there was that split, that shouldn't be a problem anymore. As I was taking this off, I didn't realise I had actually repaired this back end before. I'd forgotten about that, and I'd replaced it with the polyester. With the polyester-based felt, and it wouldn't tear. That's when you notice I went and got the knife, because it was just way too tough. So it's good stuff. Yeah, big dog there. Right, let's get the next sheet on. You'll notice as I've rolled this out, I'm going to roll it out to here, and then I've pulled that back like that, so I've got airspace I can cut. I don't want to cut it here, because I could cut through the underneath. Cut it here, and I'm not damaging anything. So, as you can see, it's quite tough. Okay. say the job's not done till the tidying up's done. So here's a little tip. I've washed the bitumen off my hands. I've used the solvent. I've used a cleaner. And even an abrasive cleaner, and it doesn't get it off. So I'm currently using an old wives' tale, which as you can see is working, well not wives' tale but an old, what's that? Butter. You have to scrub it, but because butter is a fat, I don't know, I assume, I'm guessing here a bit, but because butter's a fat, it's close to the bitumen, whereas the solvent I think is just so far away it's not able to dissolve the big heavy bitumen molecules. For some reason a heavier molecule like butter is, and I've just been working this into my hands. You have to scrub at them to get it off, but it does come, I mean I did have it all over my hands, which hand cleanser just wouldn't shift. Just kind of skirted over the surface, it just didn't seem to be doing anything. So there we go, and I suspect when I rinse this off I'll have lovely soft hands as well. Right, here we are this morning, looking good, looking lovely actually. That's not quite so good, that's blown up in the night. I hope it hasn't ripped. So I need to get that. Today's job is to tack all the ends down. So let's go have a look at that. So I'll push this down. Doesn't look like there's any tears. So we're okay, that's lifted up a little bit. But it's still quite soft. You can see it squidges, so I'll just push that back down again. That will rejoin. You can see that squeezing out there. It'll be quite a while till that actually gets hard. Right, get the staple gun, get stapling. So here's the edge of the roof. Here's the felt, just goes over there. And as the water comes down, the roof is just, well, 4 inches, 3-4 inches clear of the front of the shed, so the water will run down round here and drip off and down away from the shed, so it keeps the shed dry. So I'm just going to go along here, stapling that all the way along the front, all the way along the rest of the front, and then I'll get on and do the sides. So I've taken the boards off this join that we had, if you can see along the edge, and the ends have stayed nice and flat. So that's good. A little lift there maybe, but I'm pretty happy with that. Right, let's tack in this edge. Right, so I'm just pushing this edge over, and there's the board on the other side I'm attaching it to, just same as it was on the front, so I'm just going to staple along there, and then the drips will just strip down. So on this corner, you can see it, this is the back corner of this shed. I'm just going to fold that in. You can see. Right, so in this corner, just going to fold that edge in, then fold that one down, and that's the corner made. I'll stick a staple in it. That didn't stick very well. It's a bit big, I might have to put a tack in that. Yeah, I'm going to have to put a thing in there because it's not long enough.